Hello everyone and welcome back to Orange Studios. In today's episode we are going to do a continuation of the VALS Day package. So it could be a series of possible VALS Day flyers you can do for whether it's a church event or a regular event, a pub event, whatever it is. We are going to try our hands on several kinds of VALS Day flyers. So without wasting much time, let's jump into it. So as usual, we are going to pick a perfect square canvas area. So we are using 1080p by 1080p, 1080 pixels by 1080 pixels, and you are not restricted to using this one. You are allowed to use any size. I just prefer to work in this size with this particular project. So as it stands now, everything else is okay. Our resolution is set to 300. Color mode is RGB, and that's fine. Let's move on. So to start with, we are going to create our background, and to help us do that, we are going to use this texture right here. So we're going to pick this texture and then we drop it in our canvas area. So as it is, we just leave it as it is. You can also work on the opacity, reduce it a little if you think it's too loud. So you can do like so, and it's fine. So I'm now going to use the shape tool right here. Okay, and then I'm going to draw some shapes here to add some few elements to it. So I'm going to use this color right here, and that's the color code you see right here. So you can pick it up if you want to use this exact same thing. So we are going to now duplicate this. Shortcut key is Ctrl J, or you can right click and then you select duplicate layer. Alright, so we are taking this behind, right, and then Ctrl T to bring a transform. Then we extend this just a little bit. Yeah, this is okay. So now we are going to change this color from this to this very one here, and that's the color code you have right there. So that's it. I can notice that there's a white line here, and that would explain this would explain it. So when you select this, right, hit U to bring out the shape tool, you realize that the stroke here has a fill. Alright, so you hit U to bring out the shape tool, and once you activate the shape tool, the attributes of the shape tool will be highlighted up here. So you select the stroke, you can click on this, then you click on no fill, this particular one here. Now you realize that the white line is no longer there. This would apply to this also, so you select this, do that, and no fill. Alright, so let's enter to activate that, and then Ctrl J to duplicate this. Alright, let's extend this a little bit more like we did for the first one. This should be okay. Now we are going to use this color code right here, so you can pick it up and work with it. So this is what we have. Alright, so this is what we have now. Okay, now the next thing we are going to do, I want us to finish with the background first, then we can move to other things. The next thing we are going to do is to add some element to this, give it some effect, not necessarily an effect, but I want to give it a touch. So let's select all of this, right, put them in a group. So what we selected is the shapes we just drew. Alright, now we are going to add this image to it, okay, so that we can create the effect I'm looking at doing. So we stretch it, maybe not fully, just a little bit. The reason why we are not doing that is because we are going to put something here that will definitely cover this side of the artwork. Okay, so now let's clip this to this. So press and hold on the control, then take your mouse between these two layers. You see the arrow just appears, then you click. Right, it's clipped to this. Okay, so now let's move to filter, blur. Let's use the Gaussian blur for now. Okay, so this is a bit too much. This is fine. Now we can reduce the opacity for this. Okay, but before then, let's just change the blend mode to something that works with the background, and in this case this one, soft light, works well. Okay, so with this done, then we can probably reduce the opacity as we wish to. So everything now is fine. You select everything here, put them in a group, and we'll call this the background. Alright, now so let's drop our picture in. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick lesson on something here. So let's drag this guy here because he's the one we're going to work with. So we are dropping these guys here, right? So this is it. Alright, now originally their dress is not in this colors. Okay, so they are like orange, they are like yellow, something of that sort. That's the color. Now this is how you go about it. So I'm going to do a quick one, then we go back to the flyer. So I just can't seem to find the picture, but let's see. This is it. Let's say this is the picture we are working with. All right, so let's drop it here. And then first of all, how do you select the background? So the easy way is to just come over here, select, then subject. All right, the software itself will select around the picture, and then you are good to go. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste, and then we have just this. So let's assume this cropping is good enough for us. All right. Now over here we have a lot of yellows in the image, so it will affect it somehow. But let's just go ahead with this. Okay, so you move over to here, select this, and then select hue and saturation. All right. So with the hue and saturation selected, you can now, let's see, power clip it to this. And you can now move it from master to yellows. Okay, so once you move it from master to yellows, the color you selected, I mean in this channel, would be the only color that will be affected. Unfortunately in this case there's too much yellow on the hand and on the face. Alright, so even with that there's a way to go around it. So let's say we wanted to do something like this. Okay, so now this works. Let's increase the red a little. Okay, so now we can see the before and after. So basically that's how you go about changing the color in a quick way. So let's assume you had the same challenge. I used this one deliberately. Let's assume you also have this same image, and then the color of the shirt somehow reflects on the face or the image or the skin. That's how you go about it. So you can easily use the this tool here, quick selection. All right, then you select the image. Okay, then you just do this. Now what you can notice right here, let me zoom in so you see, is that the face is selected. Okay, so back to this. Let me finish up with this. I have the entire face selected. Let me move over to this side and then add this. So now I have the hand selected. Okay, so I'm using the quick selection tool to do this. Now let me try and select this too. Okay, so let's move here. No problem, we are going to solve it. Yes, I know it's selecting the shirt, but we are going to solve it. Now what you're going to do now is to reduce the size of the brush, because with this one, the bigger the brush, the bigger the tolerance. So let's do this. So undo, press and hold the shift key, and then do this. Press and hold the alt key, and then select the areas you don't want to select it. The other way is to also press the kill key on the keyboard. Right. So once you do that, it shows you which areas have been selected. So the areas that have the red covering it, like you can see here, are the areas that have the selection being done. So we now use the brush tool. Okay, once you select the brush tool, the colors will change from whichever color it was, changed from black, the colors which was there, to black and white, meaning you are now ready to use the brush tool. So we select the brush tool, and then we mask out the areas we don't want to have maxed. So that is the reason for that. X to toggle between black and white. Black is to cover with the red, and then white is to erase the areas you don't want to max out. So black will max it out, white will leave the masking out. So let's do this. So back, let's press the kill again to take out this. So now we want to assume this is a perfect selection, and we select this one here, this layer here. Okay, so you see it's highlighted. This is not what is highlighted, right? This one is highlighted. Oh yes, this is not what is highlighted, but this particular white one here is highlighted. All right, so now we bring out our brush tool again, which is already there. Increase the size, then we are going to erase. So now the effect you had on the skin, okay, is taken away. Right, so we are assuming this is what we wanted. Okay, so this is his skin color, right? Now let's zoom in so you can pay particular attention. So with the brush tool, we are now cleaning. So I guess you've seen how it works. Alright, so with this, Control D to deselect, and then you have your image. But when you try moving it, you move the, how do you call it, the masking here. So to avoid that, when you have this selected, when you move the whole masking again. So what you do is to select both layers, probably convert them to a smart object. Now you have one item. So that's how you go about it, right? So now let's close this. No, then we get back here. Now we are going to move to the most important thing now, which is the title of the flyer or the theme of the event. So we are going to use this font right here. We are going to use Gotham Ultra. Alright, so alright, so with this done, we are now going to change the color for this text. Of course, it's VALS Day, so it's supposed to be red. And we'll go for something like this, not too dark, too bright of a red. Alright, so this is fine. And then let's position it well. The next thing I'm going to do is to add this particular image to it. Okay, so I'll make all of this available. When I say all, I mean all. So let's now take this here. Alright, this should be fine. Okay, so what we are going to do now is to mask out some parts of the rose flower, so that what we have in looking is like the letters are falling on each other, and then the rose is also on top of somehow mixed up. So let's move in. Now to do that, we are going to add a layer mask to this. Alright, so because that's the aspect we are going to mask out. If you are masking out the love or the text, apply a layer mask to it. If you are masking out the flower, which is this layer, apply a layer mask to it. So let's say we want to mask out the flower instead of the text. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So let's select that. We are applying the layer mask to this one, and then we are going to press and hold the control key or the control button on the keyboard, and then we take our mouse, pay attention to this one over here. So you realize there's a box that is appearing below the cursor. Then you click, you right click, okay, no, you left click, you left click. Now with this done, what it means is that we've used the love text as our masking part or our selection part. Okay, so if you pay attention, you see the selection part all around it. So you're going to mask out some areas we don't want to appear, and that would be this area. So let's activate the brush tool, use the close or open square brackets to reduce or increase the size, and then we are going to do this. So let's change this to, let's say, the soft version. Okay, let me paint. Okay, so you realize that it is gone, but we have this side going and we don't want that. So let's change it from black to white, and then you do that to restore. Now let's move back to black, and then let's erase this side. let's assume we don't want this part showing, so we erase this part also. Okay. Alright, so now that's fine. Control D to deselect. I'm going to do something further, which will take a bit time, but just follow. You realize that the edge here is too sharp. There are no shadows cast on this one. Okay, so we want to create the illusion of a shadow, something of the sort. So let's reduce the opacity here. So let's say 12 is fine, and then yes, we're going to do this. So you have this. Okay, so with this now you can now do probably add a drop down shadow to this. Okay, so you have it applied to show. Alright, so let's reduce the size, increase the opacity a little bit, and this is fine. Alright, so this is okay. We have this now. The remaining thing we are going to do is to spread some petals around it, make it look a bit more busy or natural. So what we are going to do is to add more petals, and we have our petals here. Alright, so we drop them in here. What I'm going to do is to first of all cut out these petals because they are one. They are joined together, and I don't want them that way. I want them scattered around. So I'm going to cut these ones out and then arrange them as I want. So you just follow along. So I'm going to first of all rasterize this. Alright, so rasterize layer, and then I'm going to use this one polygonal lasso tool. Let's work with that. Select around the petal you want to cut. Alright, so you have the selection now. Control X will cut. Control V will paste. Alright, so now you have the petal here. So this is it. Now with that, make sure you go back to this to select, because this layer highlighted here is for the petal we just cut out. So go back and select this. Now you can have this, or you just move, click, depending. If you have this auto select checked here and it's set to group, you are in trouble, but set it to layer, then you can have selected layers. Okay, so that's fine. And then once you select this one, you can now do the same thing. Lasso to shortcut is L, then you do same and move on. Alright, so I have my petals selected right here. I have my petals selected, and then I'm going to scatter them around. So let's say I'm going to take this, duplicate this, and then take it here. I did by pressing and hold and press and hold the Alt key, like so. You realize that the pointer now becomes 2. When I let go of the Alt key, it becomes 1. When I press and hold, it becomes 2. So it means you can duplicate it. Okay, so let's duplicate this instead. Alright, now I'm going to apply some blur effects to these layers, and then that will be it. Okay, so let's say this. Okay, let's select this, apply the same guys on blur to it. Alright, let's take this somewhere here. Let this sit here. Take this probably behind the title. Okay, I think I'll put it in the group. So let's select this again behind the title. Alright, and then reduce it a little. Then again apply the Persian blur to it. So basically that's just spreading the petals around. Make it look a bit busy, a bit scattered. No problem with that. Alright, so this one is here. Maybe that's enough. Let's turn this off for now. Then the title is not complete, so this is the group. Remember, we put things in group, so this is the group for the title, right? And then we are going to add this text to it. So cancel, make sure you select it, you type it around somewhere else. So the word is conquer. I hope I spelled it correctly. Let's reduce this vertical spacing between the text. So Control A to select all, and then take the vertical spacing to 0. We are going to move away from all uppercase. Okay, so the first one is supposed to be cap. Then we are going to use this font here, advertising script, and then drop it somewhere here. Right. So to check if your spelling is correct or not, just click and then left click on the text you want to check, and then right click in the same text. You find this here, check spelling, and then spell check is complete. It means there's nothing wrong in here. So that's fine. So we are done with this for now. Alright, so we can even add this to the title, which is already in the title. So that's fine. So this is what we have here. Okay. Right, so we are going to drop in the remaining things, which is this, which we already dropped. So the next thing we are going to do is to add basic things like the logo, the organizer's logo, and it's as easy as this. Alright, now we can also add some info right here, and to do that it's easy. Let's just do this. There we go, it's easy peasy, and then we have our layout done. So basically that's about that. Look at this. I think we can do something about this. So why not mask out this particular stick here out of the scene? Okay, so we can select this. We already have the layer mask applied to it. Okay, so bring out the brush tool, and let's press and hold the Control key to select this as the mask selection. Okay, so select this, increase opacity, and then just paint over this. So now the stick goes behind. I mean, it's that easy. Alright, so that's it. Let's pay attention to this. So it's this simple. I mean, typo shouldn't be anything fancy, too fancy. Just keep it simple, keep it clean, and you are good to go. Okay, so there we go. This brings us to the end of today's tutorial. I hope it was very helpful. If it was, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed to this channel. And if you have any question, kindly leave that in the comment section and I'll respond. Have a good time.